Hi there everybody, welcome to my YouTube furry channel. Here you can find out about furries, what they are, what we like to do, how to make them. Maybe in time I shall do some making of videos. You can get general business information as well. But today we're just going to look into a few of my inspirations, whether it be the older ones, more recent fursuit oriented, or just anthropomorphic ones, or even nowadays maybe some new artists that I like. As I have said before, there are many inspirations for furry, for the furry world for me. As I said, from books, films, Disney's from when I was a kid. It's always been there. So it's really something that I sort of discovered later, sort of realizing that I had all this inspiration and I always loved all this, but to actually get to the point of realizing that this could be a job was something that was that took a lot of time, really. I think probably, I mean, as I said, Disney's, I always loved Disney's. I always loved all the animal Disney's, whether it be the more feral type with the Lion King, or whether it be more the humanized versions like the Robin Hood. All those cartoons, I've always adored them. So I mean, that was before anything, let's say. Obviously, on a more specifically anthropomorphic art front, my first artist I discovered was really Dark Natasha. Now she, up here, she does some beautiful work. These ones, this one and this one were particular favorites of mine. And as you can see, I obviously loved wolves. That all already started back in my teens. She does do all sorts of animals, other animals as well. She does SFW and NSFW as well. So for those who like that, I always thought the stances were always very interesting, whether it be more human or more animal-like. I was fascinated by her work, and that was probably really the first introduction to furry art that I really loved. It was also sort of after that in uni when I actually made my own sort of original fursuit without knowing that this furry world existed. It was really, really something that was just personally an interest of mine. I wanted to make costume for a Japanese cosplay, and it's just something that I did as a one-off thing. I did not think I could end up doing it professionally, and it would have been much easier for me if I had realized it back then. For me, the Dark Natasha was really something where I had like screensavers, I had pictures, I kept the pictures, along with this piece of art here. Now, if somebody knows who did this, please tell me. I cannot remember. I only have the picture that I've saved all these years. I was absolutely crazy about this piece, whether it be the colors, which obviously are colors that I have kept, the red, the black, touch of white, silver. These are my colors. They're really something that I've kept all through, well, I was going to say childhood, not that far back, but all through my teens, and it seems to have stuck, and I am coming back to that personally as well. But just the stance, the image, the style of the wolf, the markings, and I mean, even look at that coat. I mean, it's beautiful, that long coat that he's wearing. It's amazing, and I really want to make a fursuit of this one. Yeah, please let me know in the comments if you know the artist, or if you were the artist. Amazing work, absolutely love this. I mean, these were my pre-furry references, along with the Beast, who to me was from Beauty and the Beast. The Beast was probably also one of my true loves of all the cartoons. He was something that really struck a chord for me to show one's inner self, and also just the beautiful design of this creature. He was always amazing to me, and I was so disappointed when he turned into a prince. Even now I don't watch it anymore. I just stop it when he starts to transform. I just stop it. But because it breaks that whole image of what's so fascinating about him. This fan art piece here is amazing, and I love it. It's been a screensaver for ages and ages, along with Snoopy. That and Snoopy have been my main screensavers. It was in this phase where I had all the all the basics there, that I made my own fursuit, which was actually a quad suit, surprisingly. It was not very good, but I will be getting back to quad suits because I really want to work on that. I really find them fascinating. I will talk about the artist who also then followed on my inspiration from there. Once I realized fursuits existed, there were many artists that I really loved, but there was only a few that I really followed. The one I really got to mention the most probably is SparkyCando, because I followed pretty much all her videos, pretty much all of her suits as well, from when I discovered her onwards, and I also bought her course on how to make her fursuit as well. So that was really like the first steps of thinking about it being maybe a possibility as a life sort of job thing, or a life project, or whether it be personal or maybe professional. It really influenced me a lot, all her stuff, because she sort of reminded me of what I wanted to be. Even though I didn't know at the time what I wanted to be, I was sort of lost, and so it was really interesting to see that her character was so sort of inspiring as well, and obviously all the technical side of actually making a fursuit was extremely useful to see how the fursuit was made from beginning to end. And this was like, I think she was one of the first, and this was like just the beginning, where I then discovered Beetlecat, who I think does amazing suits as well. What I really like with SparkyCando is that she really has very bright, vivid characters full of personality, and she's probably the only sort of toony one that I've really stuck with, because personally I have a slight preference for all the semi-realistic or realistic suits. So to me, I've only sort of kept SparkyCando as my reference for toony, though there are plenty of other amazing makers out there. And I mean, at the beginning I'm also doing toony, but I really sort of was awed by the work that I saw in Beetlecat and Beastcub, who I think was probably Beetlecat and Beastcub were at the same time, but Beastcub was really the one that made me realize the work and the art in it all, on how to make it so realistic, especially on the quad suit front, which really fascinated me, especially since that was sort of what I tried to do originally all those years back. And I certainly will be coming back to quad suits, as I said, thanks to Beastcub's inspiration. I really think it's interesting how to get that mobility when you're sort of on all fours. And I don't see that many people, there's not that many quad suits around, and certainly I don't think I've seen many around. Personally, I've certainly not seen any in person, I mean. But it's really going to be something I'd love to sort of discover more suits that are quad suits, and obviously make my own. So it's on the list. It's on the list of to-do things. Then afterwards, I think I came across, I think I must say, the most beautiful suits that I've seen are Clockwork Creatures, which were the ones who really took my ideas to a whole other level of trying to combine all that sort of, as I said, Red Wall books were a huge inspiration for the anthropomorphic characters. And to me, Clockwork Creatures embodied that combination of realistic costumes and in my mind adding those sort of medieval fantasy costumes to go with it, which is sort of what I would like to do as well. I mean, that was the original aim, was to get to a sort of at least semi-realistic suit combined with the outfit, which would actually probably mean nearly more of a partial, really, with the clothes integrated to create a whole character. With the clothes, the armor, I really love all the armor side of cosplay, and that was really something I would like to integrate to actually create a character with the accessories, with the outfit, everything sort of as an ensemble. These animals here are just like, I mean, just look at the realism, the eyes, they blew me away, and that's where I did try and attempt some sort of more realistic eyes on some of my heads. Same thing, I've got to come back to this because I mean, just look at this wolf, look at these suits, they're beautiful and absolute dream goal one day. Talking about sort of fabrication as well, cosplay fabrication. So a person I've also been very interested in is Kazul Kazplay. Kazul Kazplay, who does a lot of sort of building work as well, like Beastcub, not so much to make quad suits, but she creates like creature monsters, so she has to have this whole huge unnatural shape of a creature. Let's say, for example, you've got Hogger here and Greymane, which had such an amazing sort of structure to the body to create so much personality, with those sort of monster features to them. I just think that her work is so on point when you see her system she has for the eyes, how the eyes work, how the body works. And so I mean, that's all going to be as I said, that's all staying in here, and I'll be keeping that to try to work on similar type things, and obviously trying to find my own style as well. I think it's interesting though, because I've not seen that many fursuiters work on extra, like all the extra accessories and stuff. I mean, you got little accessories, as I call them, like the collars and the and little sort of like toy plushy things. But I'm talking about accessories that go with the character, like weapons, outfits, clothing. And I really find that for me, Kazul Kazplay does sort of combine those two for me. And though this other person here is not a fursuit maker, I've also been following another person, Kamui Cosplay, who to me, though she doesn't do fursuits, I mean, I love her work and it's amazing work what she does, but she doesn't do fursuits. But that's just what's interesting, I think. She does all the cosplay clothing side, she does all the weapons and the armor and all those accessories out of Eva foam, and that to me would be the sort of top thing, is to combine both the fursuit world and that armor construction, outfit construction as well, combining all that together to create a character. She's does some amazing tutorials. I've got a couple of her patterns as well, which unfortunately I've not had time to try yet, but I will be getting there. I personally made my first order actually included an Eva foam piece as a sort of like bionic robot leg, which I thought was just like perfect, and it was sort of a sign. I thought it was like, this is fate, this is for me. That's what I wanted to try to do. I was so disappointed to miss out on the FBL last year because it was steampunk themed, and to me steampunk is exactly that. It's combining the clothing, the sort of historical clothing with the Victorian styles, all the metalware, and obviously the leatherware, and of course all these mechanical parts to the body, all the sort of different mechanisms you can have for body parts that have been added on or replacing natural body parts, and I find that absolutely fascinating. And to be able to combine that with fursuits, that would be that's the dream. That's the dream, that's the goal. And finally, I think one of the ones I have to mention, though not something I would particularly aim for, though who knows, as I said, I'm still looking for my style, I do not know. I think I have to mention Beauty of the Beast, because her costumes, her fursuits are just so iconic. And they're just stunning. And so I have to admire that work, all the detail, all the minute pieces. I mean, when I just try to work on just what I call a simple fursuit, it's just still so hard for me at the moment. And I'm like, yeah, when I get a few years under my belt, I'll be okay. But it's just amazing when you see the amount of work all these makers have put into their art. And it's just crazy imagination, I find. I think I lack a little bit of, well, maybe not lacking imagination, I just have a slight preference for realism and sort of like a bit down to earth type as well. But I've really got to admire all the color schemes that Beauty of the Beast puts into her suits, and obviously the crazy expressions and the integration of music. I personally would like to integrate like LED lamps and stuff in my suits, but I don't think I'd go like to sound system as well. It's a bit too much for me, I think. Same as me not really, I don't think I'd really want to do protogens. I want to know a little bit about electrics to be able to do some LEDs, whether it be for the armor, whether it be for a fursuit, but I won't venture into, I don't think I'd venture into like protogens and sound stuff as well. So I think that would be, these are really the sort of like the top ones that I follow. I definitely look at all they do. I follow all their videos or social media. For me, I really want to get the like the pirate, steampunk, fantasy, medieval theme going, and obviously fursuits. Fursuits amidst all that. And I've just received, my mum gave me an airbrush and mask for Christmas. And I just can't wait to get started on that, to start working on the realistic suits. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of trial and error since this will be really new to me. So I'm really excited to get started on that. And so thank you, Mum. And I'll be testing a little bit on the order I'm working on at the moment, but only really simple, basic stuff. So I have to get into the more serious stuff afterwards. So I think that's it. As I said, these are just my main ones. There are plenty of other amazing makers out there. I hope to be one of them one day. I'll get there one day. And just bringing your creations to life is just so rewarding. I think it's important to have that goal images in my mind. I had them before and just like saw them as being too far away, too impossible, whether it be on the artistic front or on the, and especially on the professional front, business front. But I think now it's really interesting that after a few years I've managed to sort of develop my mind into actually seeing this as being possible and actually living it. So I will obviously be following new makers, other makers, and I love so many of these suits. I mean, there's some I haven't shown here. There's so many I haven't shown here that I just... It's so sad not to be able to show them all, but it's something that I will have to work on another video with maybe more artwork pieces as well. Some people have inspired me here to actually want to make the suit. For example, Arven Panthera, who is an artist I've only just met recently at Horizon. She does these like hybrids of animals. And I've got this one here that's just, it fascinates me. I really love the colors, the style, the type, and though I'm not very feline, I really love this one here, and I hope to maybe one day make a suit of this one as well, along with my whole long list of other suits I would like to make. Anyway, that's my inspiration. I'd better get back to work after having seen all these pictures. I just want to get in there and keep on working. And I'll see you next week then. Bye! Have a good week!